Um, because it's not complicated, but it's slightly involved. So I'm gonna share some things to begin with, and then talk you through it. A couple of really fantastically interesting uh, anatomical aspects of what we're doing today. Um, and that is that you have your trapezius attached to your shoulder blades. You have your mastoid, sternoclavicular mastoid, attached to the sternum and the clavicle. So you can feel that now. You'll feel it on the back of the shoulders where we've had a particularly rough day. You go, you rub that bit at the back. It's all tied to your vestibular system. So if your head is off center, there is a reflex which then says, okay, you've got to right your center. And the thing that it's attached to, or one of the reflexes it's attached to, is the sternoclavicular mastoid and the trapezius. Those things are both tied to the 11th cranial nerve. So there's a reflex that immediately goes, oh, you're off center, and those things get all tensed up. Okay. Putting that aside, it means that if your head comes off center, and I'll probably repeat this again and again, if your head comes off center, those things switch on. So if you're going to go and do something, your body has a reflex that says, oh, grab hold of those things. Okay. Which means that if you're at the computer and you're like this, you're going to interfere with your shoulder blades and your sternoclavicular mastoid. Okay. Now, the beginning point of your arm. I'm sure I've told some of you this. What is the beginning point of your arm? Where is the bone that begins your arm? Yes. Full marks to Karen. It is here. You have the sternum and then you have your clavicle. That's the beginning, that's the bony part of the beginning of your arm. The shoulder is the next part of your arm. The shoulder is not your back. So if you are used to moving your arm about, doing tiny things by moving your arm about here, then you're going to interfere with this system here. So you will eventually be, if you're in this state and in this state, you're going to be foreshortening all across here, which is going to cause, eventually it's going to cause discomfort. So what we're going to play with as amphibians is moving from the very ends and not using the massive muscles to do the doing. As if our little flippers are just moving out for the first time, and these bits are going to be free. So we're always going to be checking back to see, okay, how floppily is this? How floppy is this? So we're going to move this around and then go, oh, how much can I let go of this? Okay, so it's a fun project for this morning. I'm gonna, let's see, will this work? Okay. Just, okay. There'll be a point when we're on the floor when we're going to be moving through the various stages of the hand. So there's flippering, and we've done this before, and I think everybody's done this, where you have ulnar deviation, where you're going to move, the pinky is going to be seeking this way, and then the wrist is going to seek it, and then the rest of the arm will follow. And then you can do the other way as it comes, this with the radial deviation, and it goes that way. So when I'm talking about flippering, it will be something like that. Then we're going to go through the span of the fins, which eventually turn into our amphibian doodads. Amphibian limbs. So we're going to come up onto here and feel the weight come through the wrist thing here, and then we're going to peel off, and then feel just the tips of the fingers. And so, some of you may be able to sag the middle of the wrist down, so the tips of the fingers of that would be great. Then we're going to come into the next joint there. You can play with how much extension you have there. Then we're going to play onto coming into here. And if you can begin to line up the length of the arm down there and still have play. And it's such a fun game. See, I have all this switched on. Yeah. Then I'm going to encourage it to switch off. Then I'm going to go all the way down to there and bring your thumb in here. I used to not be able to click my fingers. And now I've been doing Dart. I can click my fingers.
Miracle.
Yeah, it is a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. My kids used to come up to me and go like that. Go,
kids are so kind.
Yeah, kids. So that you can bring your thumb in here and really feel this relationship here, and then onto the back of the hand. Then we're going to roll that up onto the tips of the fingers. And this is a really fun one. To see if you can feel the line of the bone so as you can release all the way down that line. And we'll go through each finger, thumb, even the pinky finger. Keep doing this, eventually you'll be able to do press-ups on your pinky fingers. Right. I'm sure it's possible. Anyway, so that's that. The palm of the hand, the tips of the fingers, rolling onto the first joint, onto the second joint, onto the third joint, and then onto the wrist, and then up onto the fingers. And then we'll play with flapping this around so that the whole structure nipple flapples. Okay? With me so far? So the first thing is going to be in semi-supine. The next thing is going to be one arm is going to lead across here, and then you're going to come over onto one side. Oh. Sucks to be you. Okay. Over to one side. And here, we're going to run through those things. Yeah. And then rock backwards and forwards. Then we'll do it the other side. Then we're going to go onto the front, turn one way, and this is going to flip her out, this is going to flip her out. Then you're going to bring this in and play with this on this side. This is going to creep up, and you play with this on this side. Then you're going to press down so that the whole of this side comes. You let this arm come up, see what the extension is of this arm. And then you're going to extend back this way. So you're going to flip her back out so all of this widens. And you'll feel it's strange how all of that widens. The whole girdle will widen. Then you're going to come up into this position. And I'll talk you through that. And then we're going to do a little bit of froggy extensions. I'm doing that quickly, but the idea is that as you move forward, you're you're feeling your whole spine go around, and this wants to be free. So I want to be able to wag my tail, wag my shoulder blades, feel my arm coming out of my clavicle as I come forward. Yeah. And then eventually come up onto all fours. And we'll come up to a chair and ascend. I always go through this and don't spend enough time on the chair ascending. And it's a problem because there's so much before, and then the chair ascending is one of the things that where you put it into the battle against gravity. So when you come to this position, use the same information as you come up. At any point, just take a breather and say, okay, am I allowing the weight to inform the gravity, to inform how I'm taking the next step? Am I pulling on the bones ineffectively? So, here I'm already yanking on my butt muscle. Don't yank on your butt muscle. Yeah, let that settle. So I can then come up to here and I can say, okay, is this going down through here? Is my flipper working? Yes, it's working. Whoa, hello, frog. Yeah, so you use the same information on the ascendant so that when you get up here, you're saying, here's my tail. My shoulder girdle is wide. My head then is allowed to sit on top of that without this all being going, oh, you're going to fall. Oh, you're going to fall. Oh, I don't even like that. It's a lot of information. I apologize, but there's details in there which I think is worth going over again and again. All right. So here we go. Find a spot on the mat, and James, are you good here?
Yeah.
Great. And just to say, if I'm using my hands and you don't want me to use my hands, just let me know. Just tell me. Sort of. And I want to give a shout out to Jackie right here and now for letting us use this place. Yeah, because the heating's on and the heating costs money, and Jackie's just like freaking awesome. Yeah. It's also a great venue. Okay. All right. So just bringing your attention to those 13 connection points on the ground. Back of the head. The shoulder blades. And now there is so much information about the shoulder blades and their relationship with the neck that there is a reason why the points on the shoulder blades and the point on the back of the head have so much significance. You're actually inviting the vestibular-cochlear reflex to just switch off for a while. And then bringing to mind the elbows, just points on the elbows, and also bringing some consciousness to your hands, which are resting on your rib cage, so that as you breathe out, you're just going to encourage the ribs to relax and melt across the floor. And bring your mind to your pelvis, the pelvic girdle, the points that are in contact with the floor. The sacrum, by the side of the sacrum. And just encourage them melting across the floor. And then the 3 points of each foot, the heel, the pads behind the big toe and the little toe. And imagining the outcome of the lower leg sinking into the gravity provided by the middle of the foot, the gravitational point. And the femur, is that right? The femur coming into the pelvis. Really sensing the chunks of, we call it the anchor rocks around which the muscles find their purchase. Really sensing their connection with the earth. A great quote, it is not us feeling the earth, but it is the earth feeling us. We are the sense organs of the planet. And of course, you can use the scanning system of on the in-breath, seeking tension, and then on the out-breath, just letting that tension go. There's also interesting aspect of the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath. Now, in stressful moments, box breathing, where you hold the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath for the same amount of time as the in-breath and the out-breath. We're not going to do that, but it's just interesting to note that space. At the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath. And there can be a suspension in there of emptiness. It's neither one place nor the other. It's a liminal space. And in there you can empty thoughts or empty muscular tension. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there you go. Whoa. So now you're going to just let one of your hands drift off your chest and flop onto the floor. Yeah. And let the back of your hand just rotate onto the floor. Now, as you have neighbors, it's possible you might bump into your neighbor. So be it. Here's experiment number one I offer, and that is that you extend the hand just so that you can feel the backs of the fingers touching the floor. And you're going to ask yourself in this position what you can let go of. Is it possible that you can let go of the sternum, the clavicle, the shoulder blade? What can you let go of? It is unnecessary. So, seeking the whole length of your amphibian arm, you can imagine being an amphibious creature, just emerging out of the water, amphibious actually meaning of two worlds. You've just come out of the water and there's buoyancy in the water that supports your structure. And here you are on land, and there's a real interaction with gravity here. So any excess use of your muscle structure is really a waste of energy. So you as an amphibian are going, okay, what is the minimum amount of effort that I need to put into this? And so you can begin to do some flippering with that arm. So you're going to, palm up for the time being, but yeah, that's it, palm up, yes. So your fingers are going to search up towards towards your ear. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. And you're going, that's it. And then you'll find an extension along there. Yeah. And interesting thing here is if you come across something that you weren't expecting, i.e., another hand or someone's ear, that it is hopefully it will really switch your mind on to that sensitivity. Can you imagine being an amphibian emerging and then discovering all the pebbles, all the textures that suddenly uh, become available to you because there is weight giving you signals. So as you flipper that arm, uh, at any point, take a moment just to stop and say, okay, what can I let go of here? How can I release this? How can I let the shoulder, even check the shoulder and just give it a little flapple. What's fascinating about the interaction of the shoulder and the clavicle with the arm is that you may feel it, you may not. It's no biggie, but you may feel that the 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 loosening of that part of the structure you may feel all the way down the arm.
We want our arms to be straight or the elbow bent. Doesn't matter.
If you can straighten it, it's fun to straighten it. Yeah, if you can find that. It's fun just to flappel it. Yes, because there are a lot of reflexes in there that you want to listen to or have information about. Okay, and you're going to fold that arm and then just bring it back to your chest, and then you're going to have actually you're going to bring it up to the top of your head. Excuse me, and your other arm is going to come and take the block away.
Oopsie.
And then you're going to keep that arm up towards the ear because your other arm is going to go on an exploration now. Yep, that's it. Right, let it flop out and so it begins to explore. Beautiful. And now you're going to let that hand fold. You're going to look towards the bent arm. You're going to look towards the arm that you used first, and then you're going to let that hand wander right the way across so that you begin to turn over onto your side, that side. Yeah, so that hand exactly. You know, curl that hand up and then just wander across your body. Yes, exactly. And you're going to follow your heart. Yes, it's going to roll over onto that side. Perfect. Yeah. Ew. Great. And you're going to lie on that arm if you can. It's kind of fetally. Yes. So this is when we begin to explore with the arm that's in contact with the floor. So first of all, just give yourself a little rock backwards and forwards. And while you're rocking backwards and forwards, see if you can listen to how free the upper arm is, the shoulder girdle and the clavicle and the shoulder blade. Great. So with your hand there, spread the fingers as if you have amphibian fingers. Yes, amphibian fingers that are just webbing out. You can imagine the web stretching out. And actually, we do have that web. So, you're going to spread the metatarsals right the way. Yes. Now, as you spread them, in the same way as in the first exercise, as you spread them, see if you can release the muscles that are wanting to join in. Just say, hey, you're not needed. Use the connection of the bones in the wrist and the upper bones of the arm to translate the weight into informing the muscles further up the arm to release. Yes. Yes. Oh. Musicians, you are going to have a real blast for this. Because musicians, of course, are their hands are their business. You know, with me as an actor, you know, my face is my money maker. Yeah. So with all of this digit work, you're going to be asking the rest of the body, what are you doing? I don't need my right buttock to do this action. And there's also relationship with the feet here, so it could be that you're one of your toes is wanting to join in. Well, okay, so curl the ends of your fingers so you just feel the tips of your fingers on the, yes, exactly. And see what you can let go of further up the hand as a result of this. And sometimes if you imagine that what's giving you the information, the tips of the fingers doing this, is actually going to be what lets everything else let go. So it's as if the tips of the fingers are the ends of tentacles. Yeah, you can play with spider movement. That's great. Yes. creeping spider. Yes. And, you know, continually coming back to the shoulder. The shoulder is going to let you know how what's going on with the big muscles, the big fast twitch muscles further on up, the deltoids, or the biceps, all those guys. You're just going to say, hey, just come on, take a breather, take a back seat, and then come on to the first joint. You know, curl under and feel the first joint. So just the ends of the nails on there. And when you do that, it's the same thing. Scan down the arm to see what you can release. Mhm. Yeah, nice. And you know, the information here is about doing to find out what you're doing so that you can end up in a state of non-doing. Okay, I'm going to say that again because I don't know how else to phrase it. If you flap your shoulder around and it tells you that your arm is doing more than it needs to do, then that gives you the information to then not do. Yeah, is that better? Does that make more sense? Okay, anyway. So then come up onto the next set of knuckles, the next set of joints, and see if you can begin to sense the connection down the bony structure in a line that creates a in a line that creates. There you are. Great. Yes. That creates some like a bridge of bone. Yes. Fun thing about all of this, this exercise is how much muscle has been used to carrying, and in this we're asking bone to give support. Yeah. Yes. So you can just sit there on it. Yes. Does it make sense of that? Okay, and then you can come on to the next set of joints. Unfamiliar is a good way of describing this feeling because you're making a connection along uh, uh, your fin, your fishy fin, that perhaps you haven't done since you're a baba. Very possible. And then if you can, come onto the wrist and rest on there. And it does not need to be uncomfortable. Yeah. there can be a place where you can just sense the rest of the arm resting down into the floor. And then when you roll your shoulders, roll your shoulder and roll your clavicle, and then roll up onto your fingertips. Yes, that's it. Yep. Now fingertips. This is for me. This is the funnest one. Fingertips is a dance. So some fingers are going to be, yeah, we know what we're doing here. Some fingers are going to be going, what are you doing? Stop this. And some fingertips are going to start off really robust and then go whoop. So just play with the connectivity that you may or may not find in these fingers. You can also do two fingers at a time. So you can say, okay, two fingers you're going to support, or one finger can come next to the other finger and say, hey, do you need some support here? But see if you can come back to the idea of releasing all the large muscles. So notice that as you concentrate, your shoulders may begin to come up towards your ears. So just return to getting your shoulder blade a little flattened. Say, what can I undo here? Very nice. Great. Okay, so we're now going to roll over onto the other side. So begin to look the other way. And yeah, great. And then let the heart follow and the legs follow. And then you roll over to the side. Beautiful, beautiful movements. Yeah, and then give this other side of your amphibian creature a little wobble, a little side to side movement. So here's my challenge personally, is that there is so much in just the nature of your relationship between the hand and the upper arm as an emergent amphibian, that of course we spend a good while looking at this, and then when we come to amphibious movement on the floor, that's another thing altogether. But you're going to follow the same process on this side of giving yourself a rock backwards and forwards. Yeah. Really great. And as you rock backwards and forwards, it's the same question that you're going to be asking yourself of, yes, exactly. What can I let go of across the shoulder girdle? So that connectivity between the hand and the floor is what gives impetus, not the habitual response to having to do something. And you can spread your amphibious fingers on the floor. Now, one of the things that I'd like you to imagine with this is that the thing that you're embracing on the floor with your amphibious fingers and all the joints in between is something that you might come across in daily life. Yeah, a steering wheel, an instrument, a cup, a chair that you might have to lift up. It's the same deal. The only difference here is that the thing you're interacting with is the planet. So as you rock backwards and forwards, your body is interacting with the planet. The bones connecting with the bones is the support for the action. And then you can begin to feel the ends of your fingers coming into contact with the floor. That's the ends. And see what you can release through finding the ends of the fingers. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, beautiful. Yeah. So, in as much as the whole of the hand was involved in the initial spreading, the reflexes, the ends of the fingers are the things that are doing the work. Is it possible to allow the rest of the hand to let go? So if you can imagine it, it's like your arm in micro. That you have the length of the arm corresponds to the length of the palm to the ends of the fingers. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then you can come up onto the first joint of your thing. And I'll take you through it a little bit more quickly because time. And you can come on to the second joint and see if you can find that gravitational relationship where you can find the whole of the arm sitting down through that knuckle. It's fun aligning bones. Is it fun? No, it might not be fun. I mean, maybe it's just me. And then coming up onto the next knuckle. Yeah. And this might be one of the most fun. And now you don't have to go on to the next knuckle if you don't want to. If you're having fun exploring the first bit, then you know any of these, then do continue to explore. Oh, yes. Well, I can make little mini adjustments, but what I'm coming across, which is interesting, is I can't listen in your bones for your bones, if that makes any sense. there is you can play with off center and center. You know, as you flappel your shoulders, you can go, okay, is that where it sits? Because all of the joints, of course, are rounded. So you're playing with balancing balls on balls. And coming onto the back of the wrist or the ankle of the hand. Yeah. Yes, brilliant. And keep looking for that freedom in the upper arm. And play with the sensitivity to see if you say, okay, I'm going to let the senses in the skin and my proprioception of the the interior of the bones give me the information that allows me to do this. Okay, and then rolling up onto play with the finger ends, the fingertips. Yes, that's exactly. So you can really discover how the movement of the upper arm creates the rolling of the yeah, exactly, the rolling of the hand. That's yes, 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 yeah. It's not. It's like your fingers are stilt walkers. There is a place where you can and you can find even the first joint can be a fun place. Exactly, Sarah. Exactly. The top joint can go. Oh, I don't want to do this, but then there's a little place in between where that's it. The index finger there is. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So then just kind of come down and place the hand down there and just give yourself a little rock backwards and forwards there. And then you're going to continue looking round behind you over the outstretched arm. So you're looking towards the outstretched arm, and yeah, so that you can come into prone. And with your hands just by your head there, we're not going to be able to do any froggy legs today. Um, we can save that movement for a future exploration. And you sort of bring your mind to the entire length of the arm, just while you're in prone. So you're going to bring your mind to uh, the length of the fingertips to the wrist, the length of the fingertips to the elbows, the length of the fingertips to the upper part of the arm, the armpit, the length of the fingertips all the way to the bottom corner of the shoulder blade, fingertips all the way across to that joining point of the clavicle. You're going to send your tail behind you and imagine that your back is magnetized to the ceiling. And you're going to press down on those front amphibian hands, flipper things. Yeah, just come up into all fours crawling position. Yeah, and maintain the idea that the back of that's really great. That's so good. Yes. Maintain the idea that the planet is still on the back of your head. So you feel the whole length of, and you're going to take a little. You take a little crawl forward to, yes, really let the information that you found in your hand be translated into the forward motion. Yes, so that you're aware that your shoulder blades can be free because your fishy center is supporting the whole process. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Whole fishy center be the. Oh. Yes. So in stacking your legs, you can imagine you're doing the same thing with your legs that you were doing with your fingers. In stacking that whole system, you imagine you're stacking the same thing with your spine. That as bones sit on bones, bones are filled with the presence of the other bones, it can give freedom through the system. Yeah. Really great listening. Yeah. And when you come up to standing, see if you can find the stacking of the legs above the ankles. See if you can find the stacking of the femur on top of the knee. See if you can find the stacking of the pelvis on top of the femur. See if you can find the stacking of all the vertebrae above that. Ew. See if you can find the width that arises out of allowing the shoulders and the clavicle to be open. Yes. Yeah. And then we can go for a look, take that for a little walk. All right, my amphibian fishy friends.